Well, hello there, and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. I'm actually not sure if I would consider this a tutorial or a showcase. I'm going to showcase something I made, but I'm also going to explain how it's built and why it works and all of that stuff. So hopefully, you guys will be able to build it without a step-by-step tutorial. Once you understand the basic components of it, it's not too difficult. If you do want a full walkthrough tutorial, where I place all the pieces down for you. Yeah, just let me know in the comments below, and if I get enough requests, I will certainly make one. But anyway, what is this? So this is actually two pieces of one system. So this side and this side. Now, over here, we have a chicken farm. Don't ask why it's got the piston doors and why it's all covered and all of that. It's not important. But, you see, we have chickens that are dispensed into a cauldron and a minecart hopper in that cauldron. And so the reason for this, by the way, is in 1.8, you could just dispense chickens onto a slab under the lava and it would be fine. But in 1.9, the lava will actually destroy most of the drops from the slab, or sorry, from the chickens on the slab. Even though it seems like it's higher up, it doesn't work. And Impulse SV, when he discovered that, he says you can use a daylight sensor instead of a slab, and because the daylight sensor is a little smaller, it should work. But I tested that and I couldn't get it to work. It was still destroying a good proportion of the drops, including most of the cooked chicken. So then I looked it up online and on YouTube, and I found this design. I'm sorry, I don't remember who created it. Basically, I just took the cauldron and minecart hopper idea from his design, and the rest of it is my own. Basically, when the chickens grow up, they burn and they die. And when they die, the minecart hopper is fast enough and has a wide enough range to suck up all the drops before they burn and put them in here. And then there's a hopper chain down here to send them out. So the idea behind this system is sort of trying to mimic real life, where you have the farms and you go out and you collect your crops or farm your meat or whatever you're doing, but then you don't go directly to the farmer to buy it. You can, but most of the time you go to a shop and you buy stuff at the shop. So it's kind of fun to go and in a multiplayer world make a shop, and then a lot of times what ends up happening is you have to manually bring all of your items that you're selling to your shop and then run back and forth every time you sell out and all of that. It's kind of annoying. And I noticed this while watching Hermitcraft, because they are doing this, I don't know, they have this system in place this season of Hermitcraft where they have different districts, and so there is a shopping district which is separated from the farming district. So people are running around manually bringing all of their items over to their stores to sell, and then they have to keep running back and forth, and I've noticed it with a few hermits, and it seems kind of annoying. So this idea is to automate that process. So it's kind of like a store ordering process, where once you're low on product, it'll automatically order more product and bring it back for you, and you don't have to do anything. So normally the idea, the solution to that problem is to just constantly keep yourself fully stocked. But you don't really need your minecarts running around and your redstone triggering and all of that all the time. It's just going to get loud for anyone near the tracks, and it could cause a little bit of lag if the redstone is running all the time. You don't need that. You only need to order more product once you're low on your own product. So that's what this idea is. So let me show you how it works, and don't mind those command blocks. These are only here to speed up these hoppers, because a minecart chest is 27 slots, and filling 27 stacks of stuff is kind of slow. So for demonstration purposes, these two are just speeding up those hoppers and making them pull 20 items a second instead of, one item every few seconds. But yeah, so let me show you how this works. So right here, we have our chest, and this is going to be our store. and people are going to buy cooked chicken. Now they have, enough cooked chicken for everyone. So if people come in here and they start buying cooked chicken and buying cooked chicken and buying cooked chicken and taking all of it, and let's say, enough people come by that they take all this chicken and they get down to 3 stacks. As soon as that happens, once you're down to 3 stacks of product, it's going to send out for another order. And so it's going to send the minecart with the chest all the way here, and it's going to refill itself from the farm. And right now, as you can see, like I said, I sped up those hoppers. But otherwise, it's exactly the way it would work on your actual server in survival. And yeah, so obviously you're not necessarily going to have 27 stacks of stuff still backed up in your farm or whatever you're using to supply your store. So this is an intelligent system that will it'll stay there until either the chest is filled up or you're out of items to supply. Either one of those cases will be enough to send this chest on its way back. Right now I have pre-stocked, for demonstration, a ton of chicken. So there's it's going to fill up before it sells out. So let's help this along. Put that there. And that there. So now it's almost finished. Once it finishes filling up, you're going to see that will protract and go there. And then as soon as it arrives, it stops. And it starts restocking your product. So it does this all automatically. And so if your farm is automatic, everything will be automatic, and you don't have to worry about getting new orders. But it also won't keep you fully stocked, so that if people are they show up and there's only 3 stacks, they're like, oh, I guess this store is doing a lot of business. It must be really good, right? By the way, a lot of stores in real life actually do that, so don't think I'm making that one up. But yeah, so let me show you how this works. It's pretty simple. So this design, with the hopper facing down into a slanted powered rail with a detector rail under it, and a sticky piston with a fence post, this is sort of an average, it's a common design for minecart loading stations. The thing that I've changed, so what happens is when the minecart comes up here, right, it'll go under that fence post, but then when it starts to slide back down, it gets caught on the fence post and it gets stuck there. So that stays there, but it also stays not only on the powered rail, but partially on the detector rail. So while that's under this hopper, it's getting filled by the hopper, but it's also outputting the amount of items in it as a signal into this comparator. Now this comparator feeds into this comparator, and actually it doesn't need to be a comparator here. I mean, you could put a redstone dust there and move this over. I only had 2 comparators because originally I had a dot of dust there. So if you wanted to, you could make it this way, and then just put a redstone dust there, and that'll save you a comparator. Oh, no, that's why I didn't do that. Sorry. Ignore my floundering here. But this will work as well. So all you need is these comparators running into each other, and they do have to be 2 comparators. I forgot about that dust up there. And both of them are not in subtract mode, and one of them has a full strength signal coming in the side. Now you can do that with a redstone block. You can do it with a redstone torch like I am. You can put the well, you can't put the redstone torch right next to it because comparator side inputs don't work that way. But any way that you want of getting a full input in here, a full 15 input in here. Yeah, so you do that. And so what happens is, as long as this chest in this minecart is not full, it's going to give a signal of less than 15, which is going to be cut off by this. As soon as it's 15, which means it's full, it will allow the signal through. When the signal comes through, it turns off this torch, which closes this piston, moves the fence post out of the way, and then the minecart moves down, right? Yeah, so that's that part. But there's also a thing where what happens if you don't fill up your chest? Oh, and also, by the way, when the minecart is on that detector rail, not only will it do that, but it will power the power rail, so you don't have to power it separately. But yeah. But you don't only want it to be released when it's full, because what happens if you don't have enough supply? So for that, come down here, and this is the redstone dust that was interfering before. You do need this block, though, down here. You have a comparator coming out of the hopper that's leading from your supply into your minecart chest. And that comparator will output a signal here. And that signal will come over here, and it'll turn off this torch. That will, yeah. Originally I had a block here, and it powered that piston, so don't do that, by the way. So, it'll come through here, it'll turn off this torch, but when you run out of items, and there's no more items in stock, then there will also be no more items in your hopper. So when that happens, this will drop down, it'll turn the torch on, and that comes in here and hits the same block and turns this torch off and retracts the piston. So whether you're out of stock or you've filled up your chest, it'll still send it along and let the minecart go back from the farm to the store. And remember, this is just a demonstration, so you can have as many, as long a rail as you want in between, so it'll probably be a lot farther away, but the system works the same. So then, once it comes here, and it arrives at your store, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to start transferring items into that hopper. Now, that's actually going to happen before this cart gets all the way to the end, which is important, because as soon as that happens, and there's an item in this hopper, it's going to send a signal through this comparator, which gets picked up and just sent around here. And that means that if you were out of stock in your store, not in your farm doesn't matter right now, but if you're out of stock in your store, it's going to be trying to send a signal to send that minecart out. But as soon as there's something in that hopper, this is going to cut it off by sending a full signal into the side of a subtractive comparator. So that's going to make sure that as long as there are still items going from the that are still in the hopper, it will not send out for another order, because you don't need one, because you have more items backed up. So it'll never fully back up your system. The most backed up it's going to be is just sitting here waiting for people to buy your stuff. And it's only going to send out an order once there's nothing left. And how does it know there's nothing left? Well, first of all, once there is nothing left in this hopper and everything's transferred, this will turn off, and so it'll allow a signal through here. But there won't be a signal through here until this comes on. So this is just a comparator coming out of the supply chest, and with two redstone dust coming out of it. And that leads into this block with a torch, and that is the signal to send an order. So this says, hey, we only have 3 stacks left. Now, you can adjust that. If you want it to send out for a new order when you have more stacks left than 3, you can just extend this out and make it 3 redstone dust instead of 2, or 4 or 5, or play with it, see what number you like. The longer this line is, the more stacks will be left when it sends an order. You could even have this comparator pointing directly into this block here, and that'll make it so that it won't send out for another order until you have absolutely nothing left. I wouldn't recommend that, because, like I said, without these command blocks here, it takes a while to restock. especially if you have a nice backlog in your farm. So you don't want to have no items left to sell while it's restocking. So that's why, just play with it. I like having 3 stacks left. So yeah. And that'll come in here and send the signal. And once this block gets powered, it'll send this minecart back to the farm. So yeah, so that's how it works. And just to show you, just as a demonstration of how even if you don't have a backlog, as soon as you're done filling your, as soon as all of your supply is sold out, it'll still send it back to the store. And I'm going to take all but 3 stacks here to simulate being sold out. There you go. And now it's going to go and it's going to refill, but you'll notice this time it'll only fill it with as much chicken as was in the hopper and the chest above, even though it's not a full minecart chest, and it'll still send it on its way. So I'm just proving to you basically that this will work. There you go. See? It sent it on its way when it only had, not even a full row, because there was no supply left. So this will always give you full supply, and it'll only send orders when you're running low. So yeah, just to give credit where credit is due, even though I don't remember the names of the people, and I'm sorry about that. This design for the hopper and minecart loading station is not mine. It is a common design. I just added some extra detection, some extra logic to it. This side is completely mine, but it's just really basic logic again. So yeah, and again, this doesn't have to be chicken. You can go to any farm you want, because really it's just restocking from whatever's in this chest. So you can run anything into that chest and sell it. And once you do this, like I said, you won't ever have to worry about selling out, because you will never run out of stock, but you will still get, low enough stock that it seems scarce, even if you have a huge backlog back at your farm. So, yeah. I guess that's it. So until next time, keep ordering, keep supplying, and keep redstoning.